Hi, fun people. How are you guys doing today? I wanted to check in live and see how everybody's doing. I'm coming to you live from the sunny state of South Texas, where we've been iced in, but you probably already knew that. And certainly for my friends who are also in the state, then you're getting to feel the full brunt of that. So I'm not necessarily here to talk about the weather, although seems to be part of the Armageddon that has been kind of going on, which was funny. My bestie messaged me from Japan and she's like, "What are we doing? Are we waiting on the locusts to show up?" I was like, "No, that was this summer we were waiting on the locusts to show up. The grackles showed up the other day." But I do want to talk about what do you do when there's adversity? Like what positive actions are you taking, and what ways of being are you moving into when there's adversity? And I won't do this very long. I know that half the people that I know still don't have power. So when they're super bored, they might have a chance to look at some of this. But for the moment, I want to put out there that I really hope that you are checking in on people. For the first day of everything, it was checking, making sure where everybody was and what we needed. And just like the eye of the hurricane, every time it would warm up a little bit, people would rush to the store or whatever. And if you're running in, getting shit you don't need, down here in Texas, it's going to be hard and it's going to last a week, but it's going to be hard. And those of you from the north who don't get why a little bit of ice and snow is a problem, we don't have plows and we don't have also, I've got computer functioning issues here, excuse me. And we don't salt roads. So it's really a challenge simply because it's not set for that. And by the way, snow has more traction than ice. And there's nothing you can do about it when it's on the road. Turns into black ice very quickly. So we had precipitation and ice and precipitation and ice, and you couldn't get anywhere. Therefore, the challenges were like anywhere else where it's cold, except that our power infrastructure didn't keep up. And I'm not going to get into why or the how of all of that. And I do know that there are people working their asses off to fix it, and I'm grateful for them. So the question really is, well, first of all, if you pop in and you want to say hello or you want to ask a question or make a comment, then please do that. Basic questions are, what are you doing with yourself in all the adversity? We have adversity of a winter storm across the entire nation, except Florida. God love you. I'm going to come sit in your hot tub. And you know who you are. Yep. But we are going through a lot. I saw a meme the other day. Actually, I've seen it twice now. And it was, I'm really tired of starting to get real old to live through historical moments. And though it made me laugh, I recognize too that I am tired of it. But I also know something about myself, and that's that I'm pretty fucking resilient. And it's, they don't train resiliency unless you join the military, and then they train you some resiliency, and there's a learning curve even there. But the folks who were taught to camp, or the scouts who learned certain things about how to be resilient and how to be prepared and and all of that, how to be kind, have integrity. And then there's the type of resiliency that says in the face of any kind of emergency, we get shit done. And we get shit done because we've always had to get shit done. So there's a part of like physically, mentally knowing what to do and how to do it. And then there's the emotional side of, oh my God, and freaking out or being worried or blaming, blame, shame, and whatever else keeps you warm at night. I don't know. But what are you doing to fix it? Now, there's a couple of things I would like to know how you manage that. There are a few things that I know about me. When everybody says sit still, it's dangerous. I know that I'm going to do what I can to keep others from going out and being in a dangerous situation. I'm not going to order food out when it's dangerous. If it's dangerous for me, it's dangerous for them. And to check on people. But when they say to shelter in place, I have a little bit of time where I'm like, okay, I get low because I'm a goer and a doer, and I get real slow. And sometimes I get so slow that I don't get nothing done. I go through a whole like lazy phase, and I'm looking at it, but it's weird, and it sometimes takes just a little bit more movement to come out of the lazy phase. And how I do some of that is make appointments. I'll talk to you at this time, or actually start checking on people because I know that I'm resilient, and I don't know how everybody else's like environmental resources are holding out. Though I may not be able to solve those problems, I can be a landing board, a sounding board, or a physical landing spot, but also I can be supportive in that people are more resilient than they think they are. Those of you who are worried terribly about your kids like to camp, and you can make the most of it. And that's some of the conversations that I've been having. I don't know that I did my best to check on people necessarily. And was it lazy, not caring? Was it that I felt powerless over doing anything to change it, so I said nothing? Any of those are still shirking a responsibility, and I know that. And I get to look at it and start to repair that conversation with myself. I don't have to be the end all be all for everyone, and neither do you. However, people like it when you check on them. They might need just a little something that you have and can offer. A little something. And how you show up in the world is going to show up everywhere. And how were you supportive to yourself and to others? Where did you come up short to yourself or to others? And what possibly could you do differently? I learn something new every time there is adversity. Mostly because I have the intention, and I set the intention years ago that I didn't have problems, I had opportunities to grow. And that one statement has literally saved my life more than once. I have no problems, but I have lots of opportunities to grow. And it shifts it so that when a situation is over, I can put it down. Whereas when you have a problem, it just kind of is ongoing, it seems, or you carry the baggage and the energy from it for some time, which is very, very possible also. And I don't want to carry that energy. I want to be able to say, this is what I learned from this and move forward. Is it that easy? No, it's not always that easy. But if I have that intention, then I have a much better chance of having things turn out well, which is the other side of this. Have you, through the pandemic, through the blazing fires, through losing people, through the winter storms and everything else that culminates and accumulates from all of those events, have you figured out what you learned from it? Have you figured out what the lesson was? Or is it just the dumpster fire you said it was going to be? I'm a strong believer in words, and that words are powerful. And to be grateful, I'm sitting here with Wi-Fi and lights and heat, with an opportunity to share that. So there were a few calls that I made that made a difference for some people. When we're in the pity and we can't see the gratitude, then we're not going to be able to make a difference for other people. And if you're not making a difference for other people, you got some work to do. Now, this is going out to most of my friends, and this isn't anything that you haven't heard from me or something that I wouldn't tell you to directly to you. You may have some work to do if you are showing up in the world in a selfish way consistently. Now, some of that is overt, and you can look at somebody and say, damn, that is selfish. But most of our human selfishness is very sneaky, and it's just kind of sly. And we make up excuses and we don't take responsibility for things. And that's how we have everybody else buy the story that what we're telling them is true, rather than being able to say, I'm selfish or I'm lazy, because most people are not willing to look at those hard truths. And I get it. What's the alternative? But if you want to just sit in front of your TV, you can. Own it. I want to sit in front of my TV and just own it. If you're trying to tell somebody you can't be somewhere because of A, B, and C that don't exist, then that's bullshit. So figure out who you are and where you are in this world, where you want to be in this world, and set that intention. I do pretty well to check on people. I've got a caretaker thing that runs through me, but not to the point where I'm going to hurt myself, because I've learned some of those lessons. Going overboard or getting resentments because I've said I could do something that I didn't really want to do. And checking motives and all of that stuff, those are whole other conversations. Right now, being bonded, being connected to other people has a huge impact that ripples out into the world. So I've kind of just jumped around with a few things, and if you have any comments, please leave them. I'll put my glasses back on and read. And if you have any questions, but do you know who you are and what you represent? Like, for real? I really like that my tribe of friends is very authentic. I really, really like that when they're going to sit in front of the TV or they're going to go wander on a trail or whatever, that for the most part, they just own it. Just own who you are. If you're an asshole, own it. If you're an asshole and you don't like it and it's not working, then private message me. We'll have a conversation. We'll jump on a phone call and we'll get a chance to look at that a bit. So you don't have to put that in the comments. Just private message me and we'll set up a time and we can jump on a call. If that's not working and it's pushing people away and you're not taking care of yourself and you're not taking care of your responsibilities and your priorities have gotten out of hand and headed down a road that you didn't want to be on, then let's have a conversation and see what can transform within that conversation. And I will drop a link in here at some point for there to be appointments made, because sometimes that's easier. But make sure that you just drop us a message and tell me what are your strong points. Are you resilient? What is your superpower? And where do you come up short? Just like put it out there. And with that, I don't want to talk any longer because it's dinner time. But I wanted to touch base with you guys, let you know that I have been thinking about you, and I hope everyone is safe and sane. If you are neither of those, then make some phone calls, knock on the neighbor's door, meditate, do something. Don't just sit there in misery. If you're creating it inside your brain, then get in touch with some of the gratitudes. Do you have 2 feet? Do you have 2 hands? Start there, start small, and grow from there. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off and let everybody get back to their dinner. So, as always, be well. Thanks for showing up here today.